Hey, Nash. Nash, stop listing like a madman. Oh, welcome everyone else as well. My name is Jeff, and I just wanted to say hey, and thanks for stopping by. Tonight, as per the title, I want to talk about something that I was wrong on. I can see why I thought I was wrong. It has to do with the off-site promoted listings. I'll get into that in a minute. I'm actually gonna talk a little bit more about that because I want to share my figures, and I want to share something that I discovered, which I think is actually very important when you're analyzing your numbers of these off-site promoted listings, campaigns, and whatnot. I'm gonna tell you a story about how I won a case as a seller. It is unheard of. And it's a weird one. And I actually feel bad for the buyer, but I'll tell you that. The item that I thought I sold locally, that I sold on eBay. Like, I literally have a memory of selling this on Craigslist. It's very bizarre. I found it. And I literally messaged the guy. I messaged him, offered him like everything as a replacement. I messaged him again the next day. Never heard back from him. I don't know why. He's not a newbie. It's not like he doesn't know how to answer emails. But, Maria and I, we have this kind of inside joke. There have been so many instances where something has just literally manifested itself. When you sell something and you kind of have an idea of where it is. Maybe you have a perfect SKU system. I do not. I'm working on it. I've been phasing out the old way that I store things, and I've implemented a new system, but there's thousands of items that they're not in the new SKU. So I had an idea. I had an idea of where I thought it should be. And have you ever done this? Like you think you know where something is, so you go there and you look. It's not there. So then you start looking at like the second and the third kind of areas where it could be. But yet in the back of your mind, you're like, I know it's there. So you go back and you look again. And I did this. I must have did this like 6 times. I looked and I'm like, I know it's here. It would be nowhere else. But then I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, but I feel like I sold it because I have a memory. It's almost like a Mandela effect memory. And I don't know, like 2 nights ago, it was last night. I go down and I'm like, I'm looking, and there it was. And I swear it wasn't there the other night. So what I was saying is, like, Maria and I, things just have a way of like appearing, like manifestation, whatever you want to call it. Like, I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying we have had some very weird things, because I was absolutely like, I don't even know why I was waiting. Like, I was literally just, I should have just like refunded them and considered, like, I was that convinced that I didn't have it, but there was like something about it that I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna wait and wait. Anyhow, good thing that's done. Promoted listings. So in my last video, I was like, is eBay double dipping? And it certainly looks like it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna call eBay and I'm gonna ask them. I'm gonna do a little bit of research. So I called them. They walked me through the process of how to view what fees were taken out, and only the final value fees were, even though it says sold via promoted listing. So how eBay, essentially, they lump everything under promoted listings. I suggested to them that they should have it say sold via offsite ads. That would be way less confusing, because I'm sure other people are going to be calling in. But if you use offsite ads, pay per click, and a customer comes to your ad via that, you do not pay promoted listings. This is a mystery solved. I mean, I don't think I need to show you. You just go in and you look at the detailed seller fees of like the itemization. It was only the final value fee. So I was wrong. I was wrong. And I'm glad that I'm wrong, because I felt like if that was the case, that was just really bad. Now, I'm going to flip. Do I need to flip this around? Yeah, I'm going to flip this around because I want to show you guys. I've had 2 sales on the offsite ads. So let me pause it. Okay, so this is my back office screen for the offsite ads that I've been doing since December 11th. Now, I want you to focus on this number, 124, let's just say 125. So it looks like, if you're just looking at it like this, you think, okay, I spent $23 in ad fees, 170 clicks, 2 sold. I spent $23 in ad fees to get $125 in sales. Easy math. It looks like your ad fees is 1/6 of your sales. All right, now insert the most basic graphics ever. All right, so these are the 2 items that sold. $110.95, $13.93. That is the total of the item, the shipping and handling, and the tax. This item was $94. And then the rest of it is shipping and handling and tax. This item was $7. The rest of it was shipping, handling, and tax. So really, it's 125 versus 101, right? So go back to this number, $23 in ad fees. Now it looks like your ads spent is 1/5, but you got to take it down another notch. This number, $86, is after you remove the final value fee, after eBay takes their cut. Now you're looking at $23 spent to get $86 in return. I think this is a huge concept. I think this is a huge problem, the way they're putting this in there like this. It's very, unless, like I hadn't even thought about this until tonight. I was just like, I was looking at this and I was like, okay, you know, I was wrong. They're not double dipping, but they're certainly presenting the information in a way that can, upon just looking at these numbers, you're going from 1/6 to 1/4. You know, and I question whether even that is worth it when you take into consideration, you know, I've had 170 clicks, two have sold, and I'm being charged $23. Like, I don't even think the 1/6 ad spent to profit what sold is but when I think 1/4, that's even worse. So something to consider. I actually feel that everybody should do this, just so we have as much data as we can. I really don't think that this offsite, I don't think it's going to work. I really don't think it's going to work for the average reseller. Yes, I think there's people out there, like a very small percentage, maybe 1% of the reselling community, or not community, but of the resellers out there that may be able to make it work for them. But overall, it is just like it's like a ticking taxi meter that is just like continually. Now it's stopped for the night because I believe it's used up the $5 budget that I had set for it. But it's just like, you know, I check it and it's like this number just keeps going up. And you know, this number keeps going down, and this number stays the same, or it's an interesting experiment. It's not going to cost you anything, and I think it's a valuable crowdsourcing tool to if as many people kind of utilize that money. It's there, it's free, it doesn't cost you anything. Even if you think, because there might come a time down the road where maybe your sales are slow and you're like, okay, I'm going to give this a try. it's better to do it now, give it a try, so absolutely, use eBay's dime on this versus using your own dime down the road. Sometimes I assume people just know what I'm talking about. Because eBay is giving a free, I believe it's $100 in credit that is valid until the end of this month. So there's 11 days left. If you started it tomorrow, just set your budget at $10 a day, and maybe $9 a day, and just let it run through the rest of the month. And so yeah, that's what I mean when I say it's free. It's eBay. It's a promotion. I don't think it's available to people in Canada because my Maria's account doesn't have it available. Boo, but oh well. Okay, I got this back. I sold this a while ago. I guess I can take it out of here. I sold this. I got a really good price for it. This vintage Expo hat, which is like official Expo souvenir. I mean, it is just like pristine. Look at that thing. Like, how did this white? Anyhow, sorry. I'm fascinated when I find stuff like that is in like pristine condition. It comes back to me. There's a note on there that says it's undeliverable address. I get it back and I'm like, what? And I get charged $10 to have it returned to me. I call up eBay and I'm like, I don't know what to do about this. I'm like, this dude's going to be calling me about this hat. I got charged $10. I sent it to the address on file. What do I do? And they're like, well, you've done everything that you can do. We advise that you contact the buyer, that make it right period. This was last week. Try to work something out with them. So, I contact him. I'm like, hey, I got this hat back. I got charged $10. It's going to cost another $15 to ship it to you. What do you want to do? You're like, I understand that you paid, but for some reason, your address is not showing up in the system. eBay has already looked at it. They've determined that it's an invalid address. I'm at a loss as to how you want to handle this. I'm like, if you want to send me some money, I can ship this back out to you, but I can't ship it to the same address because I don't want this to happen again. So he asks me some questions. He's like, did you include my phone number? Why didn't they contact me when they were here? And I'm like, I don't know the answer. I'm like, no, I didn't include your phone number. Obviously, he opened the case. He's like, I didn't get he said, item not received. It's like, I didn't get this. He's like, I don't want to pay for something that I didn't get. I upload the information. The tracking is already attached to it. A couple days go by. I ask my courier. I guess you want to call it like a little bit of a case as to why it was returned. Why? Because the guy says this is his address. And at this point, I'm like, I talked to eBay. I'm like, what do you recommend me do? And they're like, well, you're protected. You did everything you could do. Let it go to arbitration. Now, I'm sure many of you guys have been told one thing before, and another person comes and does the analysis, and it just goes all kinds of sideways. Because sometimes one party doesn't see the same thing that another party does, and I've had things go completely sideways. So I was very nervous about this, and I'm going to give you a pro tip here very soon that I was given, and it actually worked. So I literally was like, okay, I'm like, I'm just gonna let it go. And then I even tried calling the guy because I had this whole thing laid out. I'm like, because I do have his number is in there, so I'm like, I'm gonna give him a call, and I'm gonna say, look, I'm like, hey guy, I'm like, I know this is a crappy situation. I'm like, but one of three things is going to happen. Either you're going to get your money back and I'm going to, get shafted $25 $10 for the return fee, $15 for the shipping. Number two, you're going to get shafted because I sent it to you. You're gonna eBay's gonna side with me, and you're gonna get nothing, and you're gonna have already paid this money. What was number three? Oh, number three was they're gonna side with me, but they're also gonna refund you, and so everybody's happy. And I didn't feel comfortable with any of those scenarios. So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, look, we've got $25 that we need to divvy up. I'll eat 12.5. If you want to send me 12.5 more, and give me a different address that I can ship this to, I'll ship this out to you tomorrow. I called, left a message yesterday. He never returned my phone call. I don't know if he didn't get it. I don't know if he just didn't want to bother. I thought that was like the most fair thing that could happen. So tonight is the 19th. The case is set to expire tomorrow. So that was like when eBay was going to step in. Here is the pro tip. And this is what I was told by eBay. Sometimes if you call in kind of like an hour or two before the day of, so if I called in a couple hours before the end of business today, meaning the next day it's when the case is going to be ready to be reviewed, you can talk to an agent and they can just close it right then. And that's exactly what happened. I called in, I spoke to a lady, and my intent was to call and kind of like, because I had like reference numbers from eBay telling me like, you're covered, this is gonna be side in your favor. But my intent was to call and just kind of like see if there was any other information that I could provide. I got an amazing rep. Like, oh my goodness. Like when you talk to somebody who knows their stuff, it is like such a breath of fresh air. Like she got it. She just closed it in my favor. Like, so I get to keep the hat and I get to keep the money. Now, she's like, what'll probably happen is he'll probably appeal it, and then they'll probably, I'm thinking that they're going to give him his money as well because they don't want the buyer to be unhappy. But way to go, eBay. Like that's awesome. Like, it doesn't normally work like that. And when it does, it's like it was not an easy decision for anybody, right? So, all right, we're going to look at a few things that have sold quickly, and then we're going to do a quick analyzing of eBay's stock price because I think it is hitting some critical resistance. It's had a little bit of a rally, but so has the overall markets. And before I forget, I will be on with Primo Chemo tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just think we'll be on when Josh Galt is normally on. So we are usurping his time frame while he is away. So check that out. And if any of you guys have some Christmas spirit, he is so close to be getting 1,000 subs. He needs that. He has his watch time hours. If you can find it in your Christmas heart, go give him a sub. Unsub from him if you don't find him as amazing as I find him and Spam and Pokey the dog. Let's see if we can get him above 1,000 before Christmas. That would be awesome. It doesn't cost you anything to go give him a little click on that subscribe button. And come check us out tomorrow, and we will be on talking all things eBay, all things whatever comes up. We don't script anything. We don't talk in advance about what we're going to talk about. Usually we just kind of just go with the flow. That's the best format we have found. All right. I accepted an offer for $30. This is actually an item I have on consignment. I do the tiniest amount of consignment. I've got one guy. He brings me some comics. And this is the only way, in my opinion, that you can do consignment. You can, like, 50-50 after eBay fees. That is the only way I would do consignment. It's the only way that I feel that it's worth it for me to do all the work, for me to do the listing, the pictures, the customer service, the shipping. Anything less than that isn't worth my time. So this item sold for $30, and lots of times somebody will come in, buy something, and then he'll add. I'll upsell him and he'll add. That wasn't the case this time, but that's why I like my arrangement with this guy. He's happy that he doesn't have to do the work. I'm happy that I don't have to buy the inventory for what he brings me. This Tokidoki shoulder messenger bag sold for, I sent an offer for $75, and it's actually going to the UK. So it was like $17 shipping as well. This person was so stoked. They said they had this and they just wore it out until it died, and they were so happy to have found it. Goo Goo Doll CD sold for $13. This one was the one that, it was $12 shipped. This was one of the off-site promotions. Of all the items to be searching on Google, Goo Goo Dolls, gutter flower. I was really shocked. This IKEA armrest cover, this sold for, I think it was $23 shipped. Emily the Strange. If you're unfamiliar with this brand, this person had a store locally, and they had all kinds of Emily Strange stuff. I cut a deal. I bought a ton of inventory off them, and it was all brand new. This stuff sells so well. And I only know about this because our oldest daughter really liked this particular brand back in the, I want to say, like the 2010 era. 3-book set. I don't know anything about this. I think it sold for 20 plus shipping and handling. So I think it was like 28 shipped. And then we are to the other ones. Was there something else I want? Yeah, no, there isn't. Okay. Hot Wheels. I accepted an offer for $10 on this. So this was, I think it was $18 all in for this battery charger. I want to show you guys something. Where is it? Hot Wheels, yes. I thought this was interesting. So he sent me an offer for 10. My shipping was $8 for this particular item. I think I thought it was heavier than it was. But so it was $18 all in. And I find this interesting because there are cheaper ones out there. $16 free shipping, $17 free shipping. Why might he have bought it from me? Right here. They have less than 100% feedback. So if you think feedback doesn't matter, it absolutely matters. People will pay more to buy from somebody who has 100% feedback. This was a 3-cassette set. There were 3 of these different cassettes. Jim Ron, there was 2 of those, and then there was this one. I accepted an offer of it was $60 all in. I literally was all in for less than $6 on these 3 things. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. Uncanny X-Men, an older issue 140. It's got a pretty cool cover. This one was, I think I accepted an offer for $31, and yeah, so it was like 31 plus shipping. These IKEA spice things, I showed you guys this a couple weeks ago. I picked these up for like $5. Sold them for, how much was it? It was like 45 shipped. And then I showed you I found like 7 or 8 more that I paid even cheaper for those ones. For some reason they were cheaper. So I've got 7 more. I still haven't gotten the spice thing out, but the spice smells on those ones. But I haven't tried the baking soda tip that somebody on the channel suggested, and I appreciate that. That's my next thing. Okay, a leather keychain. Oh, one more thing. I sold this. Well, I haven't actually accepted the offer. Ban the leg hole trap. $10 all in. You know, buttons are the absolute best profit margin item that I sell. I often get them, like when I buy them in lots, I'm paying like a nickel, a dime for these things. You do the math, $10 shipped. There's nothing that I sell that gives me a better profit margin. I sold a leather keychain. It looks like this, but it was dark. It was Pisces. It was Pisces. That sold for, I think it was $14 shipped. Sold a couple of Masonic. This guy came in and made an offer on a couple of these little like patches. I like selling stuff like this. When my grandfather died, he was a Mason, and I didn't think to ask my grandma, like, after, it was like maybe a couple months after, I'm like, hey grandma, I'm like, what happened to all of grandpa's Mason stuff? And she's like, oh, they came and took it. I was like, dang, I wanted it. I wanted it because I wanted to sell it. But they came and took it. I was shocked by that. This Bernie Wrightson book sold for, I think it was $15 shipped. That's a cool cover right there. Bernie Wrightson is just one of the classics out there. Amazing Spider-Man. This one sold for $25 shipped. This guy, he ended up adding a couple more comics that I showed you. He's the one that added that CGC book that I showed you in the last video. Ren and Stimpy, classic. This was $23 shipped. Another Spider-Man. This one didn't sell for much. This was like $10 including shipping. He made me an offer. I was hoping to upsell him on this item. There's really not a whole lot of value in this comic, so I was like, okay, fine. This was the order in question that I could not find. These UFCs, and it was impossible for me to like go out, and no one had both, and very few were willing to only one was willing to ship to the address of the buyer when I was trying to scramble to replace it. But it was tough, like, to find it in similar condition. And so this buy, it was 2 summers ago. I got so much stuff out of this lot. And then a patch. This patch sold for, it was $14 shipped. Cap Hatteras, North Carolina Lighthouse patch. So now we're going to move on to... Alright guys, I'm going to show you what I picked up at the thrift store today for under 20 bucks. First thing up, this cool IKEA retro vintage Fiat print that is no longer being produced, and I just couldn't leave it there. I did a little research. I found one on Etsy that it said it was sold and the price was $279. Now I don't know how to tell if that's just what it was listed for. You can see here's what it is. But some of these old IKEA things, they go for decent money, but I mean, I'm not going to leave this awesome thing here. Obviously, I'm not going to sell that on eBay. This I might have to sit on. I don't think this is probably going to sell in time for Christmas, but I mean, it's painted. It's pretty cool, I think. It's really heavy. It's like a Monterrey, Mexico. I don't know why that's not focusing. And then this cool piece, the doors open up. Like, get your surfboard on. Someone's gonna want that, definitely. I think that's got Primo Chemo and Spam Banshee written all over them, to be honest with you. I could see them heading to a tiki party, cruising down the road in that. What do you think? And then I sold a Guitar Hero today locally for 70 bucks. Sold that, and then that rooster picture that you guys saw the other day. So it was a slow day on eBay. I only did about 65, but local sales saved. We're going to move on to just take a quick look at eBay stock, see what it's doing. This is the Dow Jones. The reason I'm showing you this is, generally when the Dow Jones goes up, when we're in a bullish market, or when we've had a series of up days, it lifts pretty much all equities. There's a saying in the stock market, a rising tide lifts all boats. It certainly does. So we're going to look at 3 time frames real quick. This is the daily. You can see that it's starting to this was the earnings day. It fell down to 37, so we're up to 43, and I think we're getting close to a short-term top for this chart. You can see that we are starting to head up, but when you look, so this is the daily time frame. So we're going to look at the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. And you always have to give more weight to the longer time frame. So here is the weekly. And you can see here every time for the last, since we topped, anytime we head out above these red, these are moving averages. Every time we move out of these, it's like a magnet, pulls it back down, up, peaks up, magnet. So now we're peaking up. I wouldn't be surprised to see it even head up to 46 before starting to roll over and probably start to have another leg down. The reason is that the overall trend is still negative in the midterm. The company has already came out and said to expect softness in the upcoming quarters. So I see no impetus for the stock to rally much higher. Now, when you look at this chart, the monthly, long term, it is still bullish. But when you look at this, this needs to sort itself out. It's going to require time, and it's probably going to require some sort of good news from eBay, some optimism that whatever they're doing in terms of the platform has to start paying dividends. And Wall Street is probably looking to see, the amount of buyers on the platform. They're going to want to see that being reversed, and they're going to want to see eBay generating revenue outside of promoted listings. Like let's be real, like they can only take so much from sellers in terms of, percentages. Like there is a limitation. Like whether or not you are a fan of promoted listings or if you despise it, there is a finite amount of money that can be extracted from sellers. So my best guess, before the earnings, I thought there was a chance that we were going to come here and maybe come all the way down here. I still think we could probably go up a little bit more, and then we'll probably continue to trade in this range between 26 and 45 range until we get something more, maybe from the next earnings report. It might not be for another couple quarters. We literally might just trade in this range for the first half of 2024. All right, guys, that's all I got for you tonight. It's just a hodgepodge of my thoughts, my experiences. Thank you for watching so much and supporting the channel. I think each and every one of you guys do all the things, feed that YouTube algo, thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, support, comment, like all the things. It's much appreciated. Peace and blessings to you guys, and happy holidays. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I'll probably be doing another video, and Maria and I still do plan on doing a live on the 23rd. I don't have a time nailed down, but I'm sure I'll be doing a video between now and then. It's probably going to be sometime in the afternoon on the Pacific time zone. I'm guessing somewhere around 2, 3. I'm sure there's going to be glitches. I've never done a live, but we figure that's as good as any time to do it. So take care, and we will talk to you guys soon.